Alright, hey everybody, it's AntagonistKim, and we're back with more Disco Elysium. So, um, we're still playing the game of kind of catching up on points to do another upgrade here. We're 5 away. 5 points. Last time, I decided we should kind of get back into looking at the ledger, because it had been so long. The ledger of hatred and failure. Failure and hatred. We unlocked some new dialogue with Kim. We found some type of hologram sticker that kind of gave us the, I guess, like, work history of Harry, right? Like, let me see if I can actually go find that. It shows up over here on the right side now, so you see how we're kind of slowly unlocking his profile, right? So, which I didn't notice when we found out what our true name was and all that. Hey, yeah, you have his name, Harrier Dubois. Lieutenant Fritter ×2 because we didn't accept the promotion to like sergeant, I think is the next one up. But you see all the choices we make, which I didn't actually realize this. I pointed out in the last episode, but for anyone popping in just at random, as you start making choices through the game, it shows you like all the different things that you've picked, like your choices and how it determines like your personality you're going for. But the newest thing it unlocked apparently was years of service, cases closed, and people killed. So Harry's been an officer for 18 years. I think that includes from the very beginning up until now. Cases solved is 216, and then people killed was 3. So we got a bunch of points from that. And then a little before this, I kind of ran through a bunch of our books off camera to see if we could pass a little more time so we're not just sitting at like 9 in the morning. So now we're at this point in the game here. We've still got to find something to give us 5 points so we can unlock a level point to either confront Titus or you know, handle Claudier again. Those are our really more important ones that we have yet to do. Mainly Titus. Titus is the story carrier here, so I might do Titus and then just save scum it. Because like I said, if you're not save scumming in this game and you miss a chance, you're kind of like in this limbo. And for recording purposes, that is not very handy. So my thought was also, if we can pass some time further, right? Alright, hear me out. I do recall speaking to the mercenary guy here, and he made mention that maybe when everyone's asleep, he will not be here, so we could just go up and press this button. And I also want to get this little crate up here of stuff on the far right up here, guys, if you see that upper right area. There's a box we can kind of pick stuff out of, but measure heads here. We aren't able to make him move or get new dialogue for this, so I'm thinking once Kim's asleep and we think it's good, we just go back out and see if he leaves. And if he leaves, we're just going to press that button and see what happens. And maybe we'll get points for that, or maybe some type of interaction will happen, because I feel like we don't do a lot of late night stuff in this playthrough, so I like to kind of see where that could take us to. But as it stands, I'm trying to think about, you know, again, it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm not entirely sure what we're supposed to find or do here. There are a few more things we could purchase in here, but they're kind of on the more expensive side. I wasn't sure if I wanted to buy them or not. It's like a board game and stuff. I'm not sure what we do with that. I'm not sure if that's another way to pass time or if we missed other options to get books here. I was just going to check.
The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks. Rows and rows of Hiem Dalamen blur your vision. You make out some, maybe 100. Man from Hiem.
We've already been through a lot of this.
Not even close. Man from Heimdall in hell.
Oh, Man from Heimdall. A very popular series of adventure novels. They're awfully immoral and violent books. Blood and violence, scantily clad women, epic narratives, all those mystical things he encounters. They're bound to grab those with little imagination and nothing to do.
Okay, sounds good. Which one should I start with?
What does it matter? They're all the same. However, the customer is always right, they say. If you're a novice of the series, I'd recommend Hjelmdalaman, the man from Hjelmdal. It's supposed to be a good introduction to the series.
Okay, and I think we already got that one. Like I said, there's a few other things I was hoping to kind of spot. We've already done the checks for these, I think.
Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels.
I think we've already checked this. We got the Dick Mullins book. That's the one we read through. We got the other one from here. So the only thing we have yet to purchase is the board game. But again, I don't know if that's a way to pass time or not.
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related merchandise.
So what about all these Wirral? I know I'm not pronouncing that right. Things.
Lousy auras there. No, role-playing games are popular among those types. You know, who are into those kind of things. Personally, I don't like it. Not at all.
Okay.
I've heard they turn people into occult enthusiasts. That they have rituals where they try to summon entities. Highly immoral stuff. You can still buy them, though.
She looks at the table crossing her arms. I mean, the one isn't terribly expensive. I'm just curious what a game means. So we'll get the Suzerainty game.
Wonderful choice, sir. A wholesome family game.
So what do we do? It is an interact game. Okay, so hold on. I mean, yeah, let's just freaking look at this thing. It's new. Let's do it.
In your hands, you hold a brand new copy of the game, Suzerainty. It's snugly wrapped in a skin of plastic. The cover features a charming illustration depicting a mass of grinning laborers loading goods onto a ship, while a richly dressed administrator oversees their work. The exact location and time period are left deliberately vague, but it's clearly meant to represent the economic relationship between the Revacholian suzerainty and its many vassals.
All right, let's shake the box.
The box has a nice heft to it. You hear the rattle of individual wooden tokens and feel their weight shifting back and forth. What treasures wait in store for you? Even before you open it, you can tell that this will be a meaty game of grand strategy and complex player interactions.
Right, remove the plastic wrap.
The plastic wrap rips off as easily as a bodice in a tawdry historical romance.
Let's open the box.
There's a hiss as the lid slides off. Inside, you find a thick, full-color rulebook and more than a dozen pouches of various wooden components. Savor that new board game smell. A mix of wood, paper, and ink, all wrapped in the sweet must of cardboard.
Okay, let's, like I said, this is all new, so we're doing it. Because I'd like it to kind of be later in the night. Read the rule book.
Welcome to Suzerainty, a game of economic strategy for the whole family. The rulebook is sumptuously illustrated and thick as a Gradian novel.
Finally, a proper game to teach children about the importance of trade and global economy. I keep reading. Sure, we'll do option 1.
The colorful illustrations depict cheerful workers picking apricots, hauling marble sculptures out of crumbling temples, and harvesting a strange magenta-leafed plant. Everyone is smiling.
Of course they're smiling. Sorry, guys, I kind of sipped my drink a little bit there.
You begin to suspect there may be a political agenda to this so-called family game. Only one way to find out.
Keep reading.
The instructions are opaque at first and introduce many concepts you're not familiar with. Fortunately, there are many diagrams and examples throughout.
Okay.
You soon figure out the basic conceit. Each player represents an administrator for the suzerain of Revachol. Your objective is to increase the suzerain's wealth and renown by accumulating victory points.
Alright, how do you accumulate the victory points? Fuck the suzerain. What about my wealth and renown? I've read enough. How do you accumulate the points?
That's where the Suzerain's vassals come in. The game features 4 vassal nations, each one home to an economically important resource.
Right, kind of like Age of Empires or something, right?
Each turn, the player collects resources from vassals where they've placed workers. They may then rearrange their workers, fulfill contracts for coin and bonuses, or build structures back in Revachol. As you leaf through the pages, your eye catches on a sidebar labeled Advice for Beginners.
What's the advice?
Remember, there are many paths to victory in Suzerainty, but successful players will find one strategy and commit to it wholeheartedly.
Right, how is this winner determined?
The actual scoring system appears infinitely complex, with a series of tables and appendices required to compute each player's final victory point total. You skip that part for now.
Alright, let's examine the components.
You open up a number of pouches containing wooden tokens. There are also several punch boards with other cardboard components that will need to be punched out before you can play.
Let's punch out the cardboard pieces one by one. Check out the wooden tokens, put the components away. Heck, let's do it.
Each cardboard token makes a satisfying tsk as you pop it out. Soon, a neat pile of cardboard coins and counters has accumulated before you.
What? You're not going to offer to let me punch any of them out?
Oh, sorry, Kim. I didn't think about that, buddy, but you know, we're going to ask you to play here in a minute. Check out the wooden tokens.
In addition to the worker and building tokens used by each player, there are also several piles of colorful resource tokens, each representing one of the game's 4 principal resources.
Okay.
From the Empire of Sephre, orange apricot tokens. From Ilmarat, the ancestral name of Ilmara, gray marble block tokens. From the Seminine Islands, white sacks of sugar tokens. And from Supramuindi and Sarah Maritza, magenta tokens for unprocessed cocaine leaves.
Oh, those are nice.
Lieutenant picks up the sugar token and admires it. He's getting into it. I know he's the pinball guy, so maybe we can get him to play the game with us here. Let's put the components away.
You hold the open game box before you.
Hey, Kim, you want to play, buddy?
The lieutenant looks over the rulebook before he sees something that makes his eyes go wide.
Holy shit. The average playing time for this game is 1 to 6 hours. I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game.
Oh, of course. Come on, Kim. What's 6 hours from now? It's going to be way too late. Well, actually, it might be just about time, because didn't I say we wanted to just wait until everyone's asleep, right? Should we do this? Let's put the game away. Hear me out. We're gonna... let's maybe leave her store, because it would be well past their time of opening, I would think. Let's see. So does this mean this could be any time between 1 and 6 hours? I mean... Screw it. Let's do it. Let's play some Suzerainty.
The Suzerainty box is heavy and slightly awkward in your hands. You give it a light shake and feel the pieces shift around inside.
I wonder if they'll actually let us play this if we win it. Suggestion? Come on.
What? Does the lieutenant hate fun? Is he the fun police?
Who died and made you the fun police?
The lieutenant gives you a sour look. He may or may not hate fun, but either way, he does not appreciate your attitude.
Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Let's, we're doing it. I don't like that Harry got sassy. Alright, let's try this again. Let's do it. Suzerainty, baby.
The Suzerainty box is heavy and slightly awkward in your hands. You give it a light shake and feel the pieces shift around inside.
I really hope we could visually play and see this game.
What? Does the lieutenant hate fun? Is he the fun police?
Damn, okay. I don't want him to get upset with me. I mean, not that he's upset, it's persistent. Maybe they want me to be persistent about it.
The Suzerainty box is heavy and slightly awkward. What is detective work if not an elaborate game? You need logical inference, attention to detail, the ability to analyze your opponent's motives.
Okay. And I think I mentioned this before for anyone new that pops in. So the past several episodes where I've kind of been annoyed that we've had filler episodes trying to find like XP to level up with, guys. I hate doing it, but I've pseudo-safe scummed the thing so we can get the dice rolls. Because otherwise we would be running around in circles just waiting for the day to end. And that's boring. So we're doing it. Come on, Kim. It might help us think of a more creative solutions to solve our cases.
I do feel like my thinking has become somewhat rigid. Maybe a little diversion to keep the mind limber is just what's in order.
Yes.
See? He's doing the hard work himself. All he needed was a little nudge.
All right, you've convinced me. How do we play?
Well, do we remember the rules? I kind of do. It kind of sounds like an Age of Empires kind of thing where you pick like your sovereignty pieces, right? Each different one has like a modifier for like its region or whatever, and they're using it to like instruct workers, fighters, and stuff like that. I think I've read it. I read the rules already. I'll show you.
You explain the basic setup procedures to the lieutenant, who seems to be a quick study. You each take your bag of tokens and counters and unfold the board between you. In the center is the crown of Revachon. Radiating outward are her colorful vessels, each one supplying some raw material desired by the suzerain.
Okay, yeah, see what I'm saying? Color for vassals, which was like each of the regions. One was like peach colored, one was a bag of sugar, one was, a gray slate of marble. I don't remember what the fourth one was, but essentially they're all different colored pieces. The middle piece is obviously the king. What are we supplying to the king, and who supplies the most kind of garners points, right? Each one supplying some raw material desired by the suzerain, aka the king, okay?
Apricots from Safre.
There we go.
Archaeological treasures from Ilmarat. Sugars from the Seminine Islands. And magenta cocaine from Supra Muindi and
There.
Sarah Maritza.
That was the last one. So, each of these were kind of a different color representing the item. So the apricot were kind of like a peachy yellow color. White was for the sugar. A different one was for marble. And this one's the cocaine, I guess.
There's also a neat little log to keep track of your progress in case you need to put the game away and return to it later. The lieutenant goes first. He draws a contract card and moves several of his workers to the Safre territory of the board, and the others to the Seminine Islands.
All right, detective, your turn.
You have a few options available to you. Will you try to fulfill contracts right away, or rearrange your workers to maximize production on future turns?
Okay. We try to fulfill contracts right away, aka kind of build up your repertoire and money, or rearrange your workers in a way to maximize production for future turns.
Remember what the rulebook said. You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it.
Try to fulfill a contract, let your workers rest for a while, do whatever Kim did. So what did Kim do? Let's double check. The lieutenant goes first. He draws a contract card and moves several of his workers to the Safri territory of the board and the others to the Seminine Islands. So he's already doing contracts. I mean, that's exactly what he's doing. Although this doesn't sound like the maximize production for future turns. Let's try to fulfill a contract.
You draw a contract card offering a number of coins in exchange for archaeological treasures. You place all your workers on the Ilmarat territory. On your next turn, you produce 6 units of archaeological treasure and fulfill the contract for a handful of coins.
Okay.
Not bad, detective.
But not good enough, the lieutenant seems to be saying. As he completes his own contract card, the lieutenant is rewarded with 4 coins and a round wooden token that he places in the center of the board.
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points.
Hey, why don't I get one of those, Kim? Can I do my first turn over? I think I messed up. Glower silently. I'm gonna say it's because he organized. I mean, we'll ask. Hey, how did I not get one of those if you got one?
Don't worry, it was mostly just luck. You'll earn some points soon enough.
Right. I have a feeling Kim is like one of those players in the family that it's like a Monopoly game, right? I mean, he's probably the banker, you know what I mean?
What is that patronizing tone? You're one of the suzerain's trusted administrators. You may need to put the lieutenant in his place.
I'm not even sure what points are. That's exactly the part of the problem. Glower silently. I mean, I think I get how the points are, but it's harder to like when they're narrating the game versus visually seeing it. That's part of the problem. Let's see if Kim better explains the points.
Points are nothing. They don't exist. They're just an arbitrary convention that games use to reward or punish players for certain behaviors.
Kim, that's not the explanation I wanted. How did you get the points?
If points are really arbitrary, as the lieutenant says, what's to stop you from playing the game the way you want?
Oh my god. Who came up with such a concept? Am I getting points right now? Look around. I mean, it makes sense, I guess. He literally, like, described, like, the actual concept of it. That's why conceptualization's like, well, you gonna or you not? Who came up with such a concept? Am I getting points right now? Look around. I'm assuming that means we're looking on the board?
There are some paranoid types who believe the moral intern keeps detailed score sheets for everyone in the Real Belt. But that's obviously nonsense. Otherwise, no. There are no points, just your actions and the consequences of those actions.
Oh, okay, sorry. I picked option 2 thingy in-game. He's talking about, like, in, like, you know, your life in the game.
Just like there are no honor points. None whatsoever.
That's a little terrifying. That's reassuring. Just like there are no honor points. None whatsoever. I mean, that's true. It's more like you're just going off, like, the moral of your character, right?
That's just the way it is.
The lieutenant doesn't even find much value in dwelling on the subject.
Now, I believe it's your turn.
Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. Pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you to survive a possible conflict with the lieutenant. Or you could ignore your labor supply and focus on fulfilling contracts for points and resources. Those aren't your only options. You could also show your workers how much you appreciate them by investing some of that wealth in them. After all, they're the ones producing wealth for the suzerain. Well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective strategy, but then it's up to you.
It's said to kind of keep a strategy, though. Like, to try to, like, be consistent with your strategy, right? Invest in your existing workers. This is kind of more of, like, an emotional way of thinking it, right? Press more workers to service. Focus on fulfilling more contracts. Kim, what should I do? I'm bored with this. Let's finish this game. No, let's see what we can do. So, our first section was saying... Oh, hello. Little cursor. Go up, please. Okay, pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you survive possible conflict with the lieutenant. Or you could ignore your labor supply and focus on fulfilling contracts for points and resources. Then I also feel like rhetoric wouldn't say that for, like, no reason. I mean, win or lose against Kim, I'm not all that upset about it. Let's see if rhetoric's right. We invest in your existing work. We invest in our existing workers.
To the lieutenant's puzzlement, you spend several turns building various improvements to your territorial infrastructure. Soon, your workers have access to clean water, paved roads, and basic hobbies. In return, they produce 1 extra resource per turn.
Okay, that's good. Gaze on your workers like a benevolent parent. Grimace at them for not working harder. We'll be the benevolent parent, guys.
Too bad investing in your workers just isn't worth many points.
What do you
Take
mean?
a look at the scoring tables in the back.
Lieutenant turns to one of those appendices you skipped over earlier.
You see in Table 8C that investing in territorial infrastructure multiplies your final victory point total by 1, which is to say not at all. Whereas erecting monuments in Revachol gives you a multiplier of 5.
All right, Kim, so you're saying the values of the ruling class are completely divorced from the well-being of the people who generate their wealth. I mean, that's true in real life, unfortunately. So Kim, you're saying I should treat my workers like disposable labor instead. So you're saying I fucked up. We'll go with option 1. I mean, that's kind of every government, right? There's always going to be a lower denominator who is not going to be treated as well for the purpose of everything else, for production, right? We'll go with option 1. So you're saying the values of the ruling class are completely divorced from the well-being of the people who generate their wealth?
Yes, precisely.
Nonsense. Remember what the lieutenant said. If points are arbitrary, who cares about winning? You should reject their system and just play how you want.
Rhetoric's going into the opposite direction, should we?
Now it's the lieutenant's turn to respond. He moves aggressively onto the Safre territory. Soon, his workers are producing a steady supply of extremely valuable apricots.
I love how they put that in quotes. Is the apricots not actually like the actual fruit? Does it mean something else and I'm missing the point there? I assume it's the fruit.
For several turns, you struggle to respond to the lieutenant's burgeoning apricot empire. Eventually, you relocate the majority of your workers to Supremawindi and Saramaritsa, where they begin producing a bumper crop of cocaine tokens. You draw a new contract card. According to the text, there's an aristocrat willing to trade a large supply of cocaine for a number of coins and access to a rare bonus. Amplified music worth 7 victory points.
Okay.
This isn't unlike the situation the historical Revacholian Suzerainty faced in Safre in the middle of the last century.
All right, Encyclopedia, tell me more, because if this helps me win the game, let's go for it.
Well, the Suzerain was looking for new markets for all the cocaine it was producing, and it settled on Safre. By introducing cocaine into Safre under exclusive contract, the Suzerain created an extremely valuable captive market for an extremely addictive product.
Brilliant. 1, that's fucked up. 2, that's brilliant. 3, what does that have anything to do with the game? I mean, again, I know this sounds like crazy, at least from a US standpoint, but technically, this kind of happened here. That's brilliant.
If you could somehow get the lieutenant's workers addicted to your cocaine, you could not only make them less productive, you would also force the lieutenant to pay you for your cocaine tokens.
Oh, Kim,
each turn.
Oh, Kim, you're totally screwed, buddy. So can we even do that?
Yes, you can. It's right there in the rules.
See, but Rhetoric's saying we can play by our own game. Let's see if that's actually true. You're saying that it is. Let's go for it.
Now's your chance.
See?
Show the lieutenant what happens when he patronizes you.
Oh my god.
You've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression?
Oh my god. I mean, because this is number 3 is exactly how I would do it too. Hold on. Rock and roll, baby. Go for the contract. Give back to the workers. Sorry, Kim, you're not going to like this. Introduce the lieutenant's workers to cocaine. Attack the lieutenant and steal all his resources. Sorry, Kim, you're not going to like this, buddy. This is so bad. The lieutenant's face goes stony as you take your turn. He does not appreciate you getting all his workers addicted to the cocaine. It's genius, though.
With each passing turn, you slowly bleed the lieutenant of coins as his own workers become less productive and more dependent on your magenta cocaine tokens. As a matter of historical fact, this is almost exactly what happened in Safre. To this day, fully half of the former Safre Empire remains dependent on international aid in exchange for a steady supply of cheap produce.
All right, isn't this what they did in the apricot suzerainty in real life?
More or less.
The lieutenant says, but he's thinking less about matters of historical wrongdoing than how to get out of the jam you've put him in.
Realizing victory is slipping away, the lieutenant launches a desperate gambit: protectionism. By erecting tariffs on your cocaine, he hopes to starve you out of the market at the risk of incurring the suzerain's disfavor.
Uh-oh.
The end game is upon you. Do you escalate the trade war with the lieutenant in hopes of crushing him with your economic might? Or do you ignore his aggression and focus on building the mighty victory column structure in Revachol herself? Alternatively, you could throw the whole game away by trying to build a public education system for the children of your workers.
Oh my god, it really wants me to play the soft card here. I mean, honestly, I think we just need to win this. I mean, I wonder if once we play this, can we go in and play again?
The choice is yours.
Okay, they kind of have these out of order. For the almighty Revachol, go for the victory column. It's on Kim, launch a trade war, build a public education system. I mean, honestly, it says to keep a strategy. In truth, I should really be picking 1 or 3, but we'll go for 1. Go for the victory column.
Building the ultimate structure requires diligent economic planning, which you completely failed to do.
I forgot about that.
Rather than build a glorious monument to Revachol's economic superiority, you have to settle for a handful of post offices and school for the blind.
Nice.
A risky gambit, detective. Sorry it didn't pay off.
This dumb game is rigged. Rigged, I say. Should I have gone with a more consistent... Yeah. I should have gone with a more consistent strategy, huh?
That might have helped, yes. Now, let's tally up the scores, shall we?
Computing the final scores is almost a game unto itself. You each spend an inordinate amount of time making stacks of coins, consulting tables, and struggling with basic addition and multiplication.
Exactly like Monopoly.
After double, then triple checking your maths, you have your final score. 15 victory points. The suzerain will not be impressed.
Uh-oh.
I've got 26 points.
He says, a barely contained smile breaking across his face.
Don't be glum, detective. There's always next time. Figuratively, I mean. There's no way we have time to play this game again. Now, let's clean up and get back to work.
You hold the open game box before you.
Damn, I mean, it passed quite a bit of time, but I was hoping I'd get points for this. Damn. Well... Oh, we're still 5 points away. No, but I mean, at least I'm not mad. At least this episode was not totally in vain. You guys saw me epically lose a board game, which honestly is not a big surprise because I'm not good at board games. JWA is usually way better at that strategy shit than I am. So, guys, thanks so much for joining me. I'm glad we could do something fun and different. I guess next episode we're going to figure out how to gain these 5 extra points we need to get a new trait unlocked, okay? Guys, I appreciate you. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.